Anthony Gordon's been chatting to the press.
Yes.
We just saw him on our TV screens, but he's done now, which means we can cross to our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers. Good afternoon, Faye.
Afternoon, Paul. Afternoon, Andy. Anthony Gordon was an absolute joy to listen to in the press conference today. I sat down one-to-one with him last week for talkSPORT, which you can watch on the YouTube channel. But today he's sporting a rather different graze on his chin after taking a stumble off his bike. And he's just been describing it in detail, actually. He was lucky he didn't hurt himself more, because he went on what was so-called a recovery bike ride around the area that they're staying in Weimar land, the spa resort that they're staying at, but they're actually on electric bikes, and the brakes are on the wrong side compared to English bikes, and so instead of pressing the brake, he pressed the accelerator and went flying over the handlebars. They were riding around a golf course, and he managed to land on the only piece of gravel that was there, so he's got cuts and bruises and grazes all over him, but said he's absolutely fine.
It's given him a kind of, we said, like a little beatnik goatee on the chin. It's quite fetching. Maybe
Yes.
he'll grow one off the back of it. I don't know.
Maybe, although I'm not sure anything's going to grow there at the moment. It's quite a hefty graze, but actually he's taken it really well. I just spoke to him in the courtyard here at the castle a second ago, and he's still laughing about it and just said, "Can't believe I did it." The way he was actually videoing his family at the time, telling them, "I'm on a lovely bike ride, having a great time."
They're going to get 250 quid from
flying over
Harry
his
Hill,
handlebars.
aren't they? The Gordon family. That's going to be on you
Yes.
being framed.
You get a cut of it, Paul.
Yeah.
He's quite different, isn't he? He's quite a character, I think. Some of his, he's an interesting bloke.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. As I say, that interview that I did with him last week, it was a real joy to sit down and chat with him. He's very confident, but not in an arrogant way. He's desperate to play. We got to see him on the pitch against Slovenia the other night, and he said he absolutely loved it. And he said all he can do in training is keep giving Gareth Southgate a selection headache by pushing the other players in his position as far as possible to try and get some minutes himself. And he believes that he's got something different in his style of play. He's very direct, so I think if he does get the opportunity, he gives England something different.
He's got a lot of energy as well. I remember when
Yeah.
he first came into the Everton team, I was really impressed with him. Working back, tackling, he puts so much into it.
He does put a real shift in, Faye, that's true.
You just hope Gareth, whatever he does, whoever he picks, if he's going to just use these guys as subs, impact subs, give them a chance. Don't give him 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, Cole Palmer got more. I've just seen him actually signing autographs with some of the fans that have turned up here at Blankenheim Castle to meet some of the players after they've done their media duties. And, Cole really impressed. And so he potentially could get longer on the pitch. And I think, you have to bear in mind that actually towards the end of the season, Anthony Gordon hadn't played that much. He wasn't actually fit before the Iceland game, even though he played a little bit. So he didn't come into the tournament having, had the last 2 weeks of the Premier League season and fresh legs. He had an ankle injury to deal with. So I think now that we're getting into the knockout stages, he said that he's had more football and feels like he's nice and fresh over the past week. In particular, he feels like he's stepped things up a little bit. So, I think that has had, part of the reason to play for it. And now that he's made his appearance the other night against Slovenia, then we could potentially see him come on and make a real impact against Slovakia on Sunday.
Could you sense, reading between the lines, did you sense that maybe he is going to start? I mean, did he not give much away? Because the feeling is it's probably just going to be Kobbie Mainoo for Gallagher is the only change. But who knows? Maybe there could be 2 or 3 changes.
Yeah, he didn't give any indication on that. The team never do. I mean, it's not helpful when we get the leaks out, to be honest. I know as the media we want to get everything first, but it doesn't actually help the team because all it does is give the opposition an advantage. So we certainly didn't get anything like that. I absolutely agree with you in terms of Kobbie Mainoo. That worked much better than the experiment with Trent Alexander-Arnold and then the temporary experiment for the 45 minutes with Conor Gallagher. So, yeah, I think Kobbie Mainoo more than played his way into the team himself and could potentially start. And what is good about this England team is the amount of options that Gareth Southgate has at his disposal. And he talks a lot about the finishers. It's not always just about the starters. I know we as the media get absolutely obsessed with the starting 11 and who's going to play where, but actually you just need to get a foothold in the game first of all, get some control, wear the opposition down, and then bring on those substitutes with the extra energy, slightly more different styles in terms of directness, like we saw from both Cole Palmer and Anthony Gordon, and that's where you unlock defences and could eventually get goals. We haven't seen that yet, but I feel as if we're going to now. We're getting into the knockout stages.
I think it's a question of timing with the subs. I mean, yes, you're right. Palmer got a bit more time. He got 25 minutes, but by an hour, you're just screaming for him to change it. And you just hope he doesn't leave it too long.
Well, I mean, talking to Jim Proudfoot, talkSPORT's England commentator, he's got all the stats available to him. And up until this tournament, Gareth Southgate didn't tend to make changes until, the earliest was something like 64 minutes. And he's made the earliest changes he ever has done in a major tournament in the last game, 45 minutes with Kobbie Mainoo coming on for Conor Gallagher. And then, not that long before, he made additional changes and made more changes than we normally see from him as well. He's made 4 in the last 2 games. So actually, I think we are seeing a slightly different tactical decision-making process from Gareth Southgate and his coaching team in terms of using the bench where they can. But, sometimes you need to give the confidence to the players that are on the pitch that, what they're doing is eventually going to work. If it's not working, then you change them off. And he was certainly brave when he did that, bringing off Conor Gallagher the other day after 45 minutes. But, I do feel that they're going to grow into this tournament. We never see a particularly fluent and exciting group stage from England. It's just about getting out of the group, which they did, topping the group second, which they also did. Now I think we're going to see a little bit more flair.
We're going to hear a bit more of your chat, Bukayo Saka, Faye, and one of the staples of England camps under Gareth Southgate has been a bit of fun in the pool and the pool inflatables, and Bukayo was talking about that.
You know what? There was a unicorn out the other day, but it was massive. Like, it wasn't like the one that I was on. It was like, them big horses that you ride.
Yeah.
It was like that,
like
but
a
in the middle of the pool.
kind of thing.
What's that?
You've not seen a bucking bronco where it moves. I mean,
yeah, kind of like that. But then there was things you could use to pull you off. If someone goes on it.
Yeah.
They had that, but I didn't go on it. No.
Like Wipeout kind of.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think he was slightly worried what you'd said.
Yeah,
there.
I think he thought you were swearing at him.
No, not in front of Bukayo, never. I was telling him just before that Adrian Durham has got a T-shirt with Bukayo and that great big grin on his face on the unicorn from the 2020 Euros, and that he wears that with pride, which made him laugh. And I asked him what else they had there, and so hopefully we'll get those photographs of the bucking bronco in the pool.
Close. You can't keep saying that on live radio is very bold of you.
It was bold. It was a bit concerning to hear Jude Bellingham say how tired he was in the game, and he was exhausted, he said after the game. That does suggest maybe that he could do with a rest, but I don't think he's going to get one.
No, he'd always want to play, Jude. He'd never want a rest. He'd be a different player, I think, if he wasn't starting. He wants to play every single game. He turns 21, by the way, the day before the last 16 game. So I wonder what England are going to do in order to celebrate that. But you know what it's like being a young man that age. No matter how much football you've played, you still want to play. It's like injured players. They're not going to come off the pitch. They're not going to decide that they want to come off the pitch. They want to play as much as possible. And Jude Bellingham is very much like that. To be honest, this isn't an excuse in the slightest, but I'm lucky enough to be pitch side for talkSPORT for all of the games, and certainly the game in Frankfurt against Denmark, and then additionally the game in Cologne. It was absolutely sweltering. I mean, it was hot up for the commentary team. That was about 29-30 degrees up there, and it was even hotter pitch side. It was really sweaty and very, very muggy and humid additionally, so difficult conditions to play in, which I know is exactly the same for the opposition as well. But certainly you could feel as if it was maybe zapping the energy levels of the players when they're just building in. It's almost like pre-season for them at the moment, because they have had that break before they came out to Germany. This is why, and obviously, totally correct me if I'm wrong, if we put in a dismal display against Slovakia, then absolutely you can say, well, that didn't turn out to be the case. But I really do feel, and they've had a really good week training from everything that I'm being told. I feel like we're going to get a more energetic England side.
Let's just hear finally from Anthony Gordon. You've just been chatting to him. This is what he says he's been doing to give himself a chance to start matches for England.
Yeah, I don't think I needed any opportunity to make me want it even more. I'll always be ready. Like I said, I can only control so much, and that's everything I do every day. And I try and push the lads who are playing as best as I can when I train, and then when I get on, I'm trying to stay on. I'm not trying to come off. And the next match, I'm playing to basically start the next game. That's my mindset.
And you talked about your direct style. How much does that help, particularly playing against the teams that do play with such a low block?
Yeah, I think it does, because it brings a sense of like unpredictability. I win a lot of fouls and stuff, and it can put teams on the back foot, and that's just the way I play football. That works for me. That's the way I feel best playing. And again, like I said before, I know how hard I am to play against. I can feel it. I know people don't like playing against me, so it's worked for me, and I'm going to carry on doing it.
There we are. It's Faye chatting to Anthony Gordon. We're out of time, Faye.
Thanks,
we'll let
Faye.
you go. Have a great weekend, and we'll hear from you, Sonny. We'll
And
hear
you
from
as well.
Before. Take care.
Yeah, lovely talking to you as always. Take care.
Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent, say regular updates from Faye in the build-up to kick-off. She will be pitchside for that. Stuart Pearce, Jim Proudfoot, Adrian Durham will bring you the game. Ashley Young as well on Sunday for that match. But all the games between now and then, all the games from the round of 16 live on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.